Let's look at the next part, which is delivery, and from the sales point of view, upsell. Now, at this point, we've got to assume that you can actually deliver the product or the service that you marketed. If you can't, there's a problem, but it's not really with your sales and marketing process. It's more with it's more fundamental to your business. So, a question is: are you delivering memorable customer service? Now, these days, to just do what you said you would do is a given. You've got to do something that's different, that's more interesting, that goes over the top in terms of customer service to get you noticeable. It doesn't necessarily mean ridiculous, it's just noticeable. I mean, if I ask you, do your customers send you thank you cards? Do they refer their friends? If the answer to those questions is no, then, well, maybe there's something you could do to make your customer service more memorable. Do your customers talk about you in social media? And you can monitor what's being said about you in social media. There's various tools and bits of software that are easily available to actually monitor that, so you can see whether your customer's talking about you. Do your customers say, wow, that was great service? If they do, you're probably getting lots of referrals. If they don't, you're probably not getting so many referrals, but you could get more. You can automate many of these sort of the mundane tasks of customer service. By automating them, you still personalize them, but they're automated so they're not forgotten. It takes no effort to do them because they're automated. Things like sending thank you notes and thank you emails, that can all be sort of automated so it goes. It's very personal. You have information about the customer, so it's sort of sent out in a very personal manner, but nevertheless you can automate all that. Any documentation, and almost every product and service has some form of documentation, either documentation that you send before the purchase, or documentation you send during the delivery, or documentation you send after the purchase. So a lot of capital equipment is going to have that, so there's specs, there's questionnaires that need to be filled in. But in service businesses like dentistry, there's often questionnaires and information that can be gathered from customers prior to them attending for a consultation, which even if they don't fill it in, they will definitely feel more part of the practice or more part of the sale, and that you're actually more professional. And again, that can all be automated to send out before the customers or the patients arrive. Once you've delivered the service, do you send customer care surveys? Now, I know lots of people do send customer care surveys these days, but a vast majority don't. Whether they're filled in or not is only part of the question. You get some fabulous information back if you start sending out customer care surveys. And if you organise your customer care surveys and automate them in an electronic manner, you can actually get testimonials and referrals that start to come because you followed up and said, how do we do? Please fill in this feedback survey. We take your opinion very seriously. A proportion of people will fill them in and send them back to you. If you do it electronically, it's no effort at all to capture all that information. And if you ask for referrals, you will get referrals. What will also be flagged up if you're talking to your customers in an automated manner is that there's triggers that can happen that can highlight to you that there's a problem. Once you understand there's a problem, you can follow up and fix it. You can resolve the perception. So if you've got an occurring customer service issue, you can actually resolve it before it becomes a big issue. And funnily enough, customers who've had a problem resolved exceptionally well tend to be more vocal and refer better, because what's happened is that their fear began to be realised, and then it was mitigated because of the great follow-up that they got. They become very vocal about that. That's so unusual that they tell all their friends. So not that I'm suggesting that you create problems deliberately so you can solve them, but when it happens, if your process is good, then you generally do get better feedback and referrals that come from that. And again, that can all be automated. And you can upsell. The best time to ask for an upsell is when a person has just ordered. The sort of famous story, which is the biggest upsell in the world, is McDonald's, and they say, do you want cheese on that, or do you want to go large? And what they do time and time and time and time again is upsell people from a regular meal to a large meal. Those 20-30 pence that it costs upsell, it costs McDonald's nothing to deliver that. It's a few extra chips in a slightly different size container. It's a slightly larger drink. It costs them nothing in operational cost, fractions of pennies, and they get 30-40p times the number of meals that they sell. It's phenomenal. If you can do an upsell in your business to increase, if people are buying a suit and you can upsell a tie in with it, if people are buying a boiler and you can upsell a support contract, if people are buying an insurance product and you can upsell an add-on insurance product, you've spent all the money and done all the hard work in making the initial sale. Why not ask for the upsell? So you need to figure out what the upsells you can actually make are. Once the sale's done, gently remind customers what else you do. Let them try more products and services. If you have a trial program, the best people to try new products and services is your current customers. Okay, it's a lot more effective and considerably less expensive to do a trial program on your current customers than it is on a new market. Okay, and keep in contact. There is a fairly sophisticated equation for figuring out the lifetime value of a customer. Here it is. I have some spreadsheets that calculate this for you, which I'm happily let you have. But if you really understand what the maximum customer lifetime value is, if you've done the arithmetic or the algebra in this case correctly, and you understand what you get from a customer when you get a customer, then I think that you would actually be prepared to invest more money in acquiring the customer in the first place and considerably more money on retaining and upselling the customer afterwards.